Uttam Singh Bisht, who is working as an assistant professor with Bharati Vidyapeeth Institute of Computer Applications and Management. Along with that, sir has always been handling a number of technology-enabled challenges college, and he's also our website administrator and an important member of our Moodle customization team. So, Uttam sir, I welcome you today to this session, and I will now request you to start with your session on Moodle LMS.
Thank you so much, ma'am. First of all, I would like ask to all the participants, am I audible? Please confirm me in the chat window so that I can proceed further.
Sir, you are perfectly audible. Yes, the participants also agreeing to that.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So, I most welcome to all the participants for this Moodle LMS. So, the first session was regarding the introduction of Moodle LMS. How Moodle LMS is going to be provide us the facilitate to continue our distant or blend learning procedure, whether it is the pandemic or the non-pandemic. That is, it doesn't mean that the COVID-19 just make ensure that the Moodle is being very powerful tool for deploy or dispense your knowledge to your students. But that is, yes, of course, that was used by the many more universities earlier to convey sorry to convey their lesson plan to their students. So this is the installation requirement. So first we need to install the Moodle in our Apache, or it may be IIS or the Tomcat. But for the Moodle, it is required only the Apache web server. The version of the Apache web server is required to or version 2 higher. So next requirement for the Moodle installation, that is MySQL, or you can also use the PostgreSQL. The SQL is basically used to store the persistent data of all your settings and your users or your teachers, all the related requirements, which is all the related information regarding your Moodle LMS. Next is the PHP. PHP is the version that is the Moodle is completely designed and developed in the PHP using HTML and CSS and Bootstrap. But the PHP is basically known as the latest version. So PHP version 5.4.4 or the higher is required, but right now it is the latest version of the PHP 7.2. Next is we have to install. First, we need to understand these three main, you can say, the pillar for the Moodle. First, we require a web server where we can install our application. Second one is the database, that is either the MySQL or the PostgreSQL or the MariaDB, the advanced version of MySQL. And the third one is the PHP, because we need to encrypt and we need to execute or we need to decode the code which is already written in the PHP. Either we can install these three packages independently, and then we have to collaborate in the one single package, or we can say that we have to install only the XAMPP server. The XAMPP server is version 5.6.30. That is the least required for this one. But as I have served some latest versions of that XAMPP, that is a 7.2 something. So that means 7.2 means the PHP version is 7.2 actually. And if you're just running on the 7.2 PHP, that means you required. But sorry, am I audible? Ma'am, can you please confirm me? Hello, am I audible to all the participants? Okay, thank you. So XAMPP server is basically 5.6, means that the PHP version 5 is running on that system. If your PHP version is 5 or earlier than the 5 point, so you can install the Moodle in your 32-bit operating system. The document which was shared by me in last Saturday, that I have mentioned that the PHP latest model is basically supported only for the 64-bit operating system, because PHP 7.0 does not support the 32-bit system. So that is why we required 64-bit operating system. But if you use PHP version 5.4 or the earlier, then you can use the PHP, you can install the model under the 32-bit system as well. Next is we can install the XAMPP on the Windows, Ubuntu, or the any Linux versions. For the Windows, we can use the XAMPP server. For the Ubuntu, we have to install Apache, MySQL, and the PHP independently, and then we can use the Ubuntu as a web server. Next, there is another one requirement, that is called the 5 GB disk space. That is 5 GB is not required only for the Moodle code, that is for the database data as well, because it is basically, it does not first time it does not require the 5 GB actually. It might be take some MBs, around 102 or 3 MB disk space, but later on when you are going to use that Moodle, that it may require up to the 5 GB space as per your requirement and as per the data you are asking to upload in the Moodle site. Like if you just upload a single file for the 250 MB, then it will take the space of the 250 MB on the cloud. So next one is that it is required at least 2 gigahertz dual core processor. So first let me confirm that these requirements like 5 GB disk space and the speed of processors, that is just basically depends upon the your system requirement, and 1 GB memory, that is just required for the PHP, MySQL, and Apache to provide their services as well. After that, first we need to install the Moodle XAMPP. First we need to install the XAMPP. We can download the Moodle from their official sites, that is called the download.moodle.org, or you can just just type the moodle.org and go to the download section on the website, and then you can download the Moodle. After that, you need to extract that folder into your htdocs folder and then start to install the Moodle. So first, let's come to the installation version to install these things, Moodles. So as I have shared 3 types of the things on the last Saturday. First one was the VC, Visual and C++ redistribute. So that is required for the XAMPP servers only. If you are using Windows 10 or the latest version, then you do not require to install the VC. But if you are running under the Windows 7, then you have to install the VC 15 at least. Okay, so now first is the XAMPP Windows. So just double click on the XAMPP folder, that plugin. It will start to unpackage the packages which is collectively called inside this one, and it will ask take your permission. I suppose this link is the overall screen is visible to all the participants. I suppose that. Okay. So now first that will become to ask the warning. I request to all the participants, please, if you have downloaded that, if you have already downloaded that package, then start the installation process. I am just going to very slowly to discuss everything about of the installation, which I have already shared the installation processes document with you. And first you have to accept this one. That is just a warning that it tells you that C drive XAMPP. If you want to install the XAMPP, then you have to select that path which does not have occurred any space in between the path. For example, if you just going to ask install this one path, and you can see here there is the C program files. There is a space between the program files, so you are not able to install the XAMPP under this library, under this folder, because program and files having a space. So you have just to select the OK and then start the setup this XAMPP. So click on the next. Okay. Here you can just check out the setup components. So there are some required. First, it is asking you to install the servers. The server is basically responsible to handling the all HTTP requests on the port number 80 or 443. Okay. Then the server is my Apache, then MySQL. These are both are the server. Apache is the server for the to handling the request, and MySQL is just handling the request regarding the database. Then FileZilla, the FTP servers, that is the other one thing. Mercury mail server, that is the mail server, which is we do not require these things. So you can uncheck these things, but for the future purpose, I'm just going to install all these things. And then it asked me to install the programming language. The programming language is PHP by default. You cannot unselect that one, but the Perl is your optional. You can install and uninstall that one. Next one is the other programming language that is called PHPMyAdmin. PHPMyAdmin is a platform where you can handle or visualize your database. Okay, how your database is going to install in your Windows, and what kind of the data and the tables and the databases you have in your systems. Everything will be visualized by the PHPMyAdmin. Okay, the data you can just check out everything in PHPMyAdmin. The web analyzer and the fixed end mail, that is not so required components, so we can uncheck those both of them. But for this time, we are just going to select all these things, and these are, I'm not going to change anything in this installation. So click on next. Now you can see the path. You can select the path C drive XAMPP. That is the by default path, or you can just change the path by clicking this one and browse the other directory. But please mind that you are not able to create path like this, test Moodle, like this, because this one having the space. But if you are just asking to install the XAMPP under the C drive test XAMPP, that is a perfect path. Okay, let it be unchanged and click on next. Once you click on next, you will be able to select the language. Now Moodle is basically XAMPP is basically supported only two types of the language. First one is the English and second one Dutch. So you can just select the English language and click on next. Now this is a check. You can uncheck this one because it will open a web browser page to learn about you more for the Bitnami. So we are just going to skip this one part and click on the next button. Now it will tell us that everything is the required information for the installation we have collected from the users, and now we are ready to install the XAMPP. So click on the next button and the installation is started. Now it will take some time, around 2 to 3 minutes. Okay, so the XAMPP is basically the complete package of the Apache, MySQL, and the PHP. So if I'm just going to explain the XAMPP, X for the X Windows, A for the Apache, M for MySQL, P for PHP, and P for Perl, or the PHPMyAdmin, you can see that. Because it is the complete package, you do not require to install anything else after that XAMPP. If you are running, if you do not have Windows 64-bit version, then you can also try for the WAMP, WAMP, the other late version of the XAMPP. That is for the Windows, Apache, MySQL, and PHP. I'm just going to write down. Just give me. So you also can download the WAMP. For the WAMP, that is Windows, Apache, MySQL, and PHP. And for the same, we have to also require VC++ Redist x86 version from MSDN. We need to install this thing. Okay, if you are running under the 32-bit or the 64-bit as well, you can use WAMP. But XAMPP is very powerful, and XAMPP is very latest with the latest packages of the PHP and the MySQL. So we just follow the XAMPP, and sometimes I found some problems in the WAMP, but so that is, I do not recommend the WAMP for those users who can install the XAMPP. Okay, so if you have any question till now, you may ask the question if you have any till the setup is going on, because after that we will just going to discuss how we are going to install the Moodle in our system.
Hello, sir. I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, my question is, क्या हमें उसी फोल्डर में लेना होगा ये जो हम ले रहे हैं?
Yes,
XAMP
sir.
हमने फोल्डर लिया हुआ है,
Yes, sir.
जो हम उसको करेंगे, मॉडल को जब करते हैं एक्सट्रैक्ट,
Install
तो
करेंगे.
इसी फोल्डर में करना होगा हमें XAMP वाले में.
Yes, sir. I will tell you. I will tell you while we are going to install the Moodle. Then I will clear that down. Okay, sir.
जी सर. ओके ओके.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Okay. Now it is about to complete the setup. Now we can see I have a XAMPP folder under the C drive. It has been completed. It has been created by XAMPP installation. Now I need to check whether my installation is complete. After the complete this installation, we have to check the XAMPP is installed successfully or not. Okay, so let it be finished first. Till now, let me clear one thing. XAMPP has a control panel which is independent than the Windows control panel. XAMPP control panel is basically always being on running mode while you are going to use any application which is installed under the XAMPP. Okay, so that is very mandatory thing. If you are going to shut down your system and you just shut down your system and then restart it, the XAMPP, all the XAMPP services like Apache and the MySQL will be turning off. So before starting any Moodle kind of service or the application or any WordPress kind of the application which is going to be installed under the XAMPP folder, then you have to first go to the XAMPP control panel and start two major services. First one is the Apache and second one is the MySQL. Okay. These two services always been in the running mode. I suppose all the participants are just following these instructions and installing the XAMPP on their system. Please confirm me in the chat window if you are going to install the XAMPP in your system or you have installed it. So my execution is completed. My setup is completed now. Now it is asking me to, do you want to start the control panel now? Yes, I need to start. And first, in my earlier document, sorry, my meeting was just ma'am, I'm audio. Hello, hello. Okay, just a minute. Okay, I'm sorry. Actually, I suppose that my meeting is just turning off. So now, just I'm going to. Okay, thank you. Downloaded and have you installed these things? Okay, just confirm me in the chat window. If you have installed these things, then we can proceed further. Okay, thank you. So we can check it out that we are just having, there are a lot of services which we have installed already. First was the Apache, MySQL, FileZilla, Mercury, and the Tomcat. But we required only these two services need to start. Okay. Once I'm just going to click this one, start Apache. If you do not have installed any other version of the web server in your system, then it will turn into the green option. Okay. And the start button will be turned into the stop version. But as I already have, there is an error which is just showing to me that port number 80 is already in use. If you are facing such kind of the error in your system, then you need to just change some things, like you need to click on the config, go to the Apache server, because we need to require to run the Apache server on this system. So just click on that, and Apache by default port number is 80. So just go to Control F and find out the port number 80. Now you are able to see that I am going to listen the request on port number 80. What it does, whenever a client is going to connect yours or they're sending a request to your server, then the server will listen that request on the port number 80. So I'm just going to change this one, because this time my system's port number 80 is already in use by the some other application. So I'm just going to change it to the port number 8080 and finding out another one for my server name. My server name is the local host. If it is the port number 80, then you can just type here the local host and hit the enter. Okay. But right now, what I am facing the problem, what kind of the problem I am facing, that port number 80 is already using by some other application. So I'm just going to use port number 8080 and go to the file option and save the file, close it. In my control panel, just click on the start. Now you can see Apache is turned into the green and my ports are basically showing the port numbers. First one is the port number 443. That is basically configured for the HTTPS request. That is just known as the secured request for the any application which is just going to be used by the Apache server. And second one is the 8080. That is basically going to handle the request for the only HTTP kind of request. Okay. So every time whenever I have to use the local host, then I have to mention that port number. In my case, if your port number, if instead of the 8080, if it is shows port number 80 here, instead of the 8080, if it shows port number 80, then you have to type only the local host and hit the enter. But if you have set another port number, then you have to mention the port number here. Through these port numbers, we can configure so many application in a single system. Okay. Next one is the MySQL. So just click on the start, and this time MySQL is turned into the green, and it always use the port number 3306. That is the by default port number uses by the MySQL. Okay. So what we have to do, we just can check it out. While I just type localhost port number 8080, then it returns me that the XAMPP Apache, the MariaDB, instead of the MySQL, it is using MariaDB. That is the advanced version of the MySQL, PHP, and the Perl. So we just can check it out here. Everything is fine. And the version it is using 7.2. That is the basically my PHP version 7.2, which is used by the XAMPP Apache. Okay. So first one milestone has been completed by us for today. That is basically the basics to install the, we just have make a web server in our local machine. That is the first one steps. Next, we need to install the Moodle. So what we can do, we have to follow these procedure and go to the XAMPP folder. Under the XAMPP folder, there is htdocs. Okay. Once just go to the C drive. Inside the XAMPP folder, you can check it out here. There is htdocs. Open the htdocs and you just can check it out. The index.php is here. That is the file which is basically redirect us whenever we are going to type here. Sorry. Whenever we are going to type this one localhost, this one, that times it will be looking for the index.php or index.html or index.html, okay, and other things. So every time whenever it looking for the default page, then it will read that page. So this time we have a root page that is called the index.php in our htdocs folder. So that is the folder, that is the file which is basically redirect me to this one folder, and that is my dashboard. You can check it out. Once I just hit the enter, it will becomes under the dashboard folder. And the dashboard folder also has some either the index.html or the index.php. Now it has the index.html page. So we can check it out. The index.html page showing me this one details. Okay. So the same theory, the same procedure will happens with the Moodle. So we have already, I have already installed the Moodle and download the Moodle from the website. So I'm just going to click on that one and copy this one package, Moodle latest 39.zip. Shilpa ma'am, you have to, if what kind, sorry, you are just going to be confused with the terminology you are using. Okay. Ma'am, it is little bit technical for today's sessions only, because that have the installation process only. So that is why it will become little bit technical things. So after that, from tomorrow onwards, it will be very easy to all the participants, because after that you have just used the things and you have to use the settings to create the users and the so on, to quiz and the courses also. So that will become very easy. But this time we have to follow some technical things, what we have to cover, and what these things will be useful once we are going to install the Moodle in our system or in our college campus area. Then we can use Moodle, and what kind of the technicalities we have to face, those we are going to discuss today. So if you are going to be confused, then please ask me the question what you do not understand till now, because we have just making some installation steps here. You can unmute ma'am yourself and ask me the question.
Sir, actually, I am not able to do the thing simultaneously the way you are doing. I did not
Okay,
download the package beforehand. So going to the other window, opening another window and doing the thing
Okay, okay,
simultaneously, I'm not able to do. So I thought that let me see how you are going to do. Then after the end of the
okay,
session, I
ma'am.
will be able to do. But
Okay,
these
ma'am. No,
host and these terminologies that you are using, because normally these things are taken care of by the IT people in the institute. So we are
yes,
not
ma'am. Ma'am,
accustomed to these things like change. You said you changed 80 number. This is being used by some other server.
okay. No, no
So
problem, ma'am. If you have not downloaded and you are just going to be a little bit confused, then I can just I will be connect with you after the session. Okay,
yes,
then
I'll
I
do
will
it
help you
after
to
the
install.
session.
Yes, ma'am. Till then, you please be with us. Okay,
Yes.
Ma'am, you are just asking that Moodle is available for 32-bit Windows also. Yes, ma'am, that is also available, but not for the XAMPP server, because XAMPP server is basically supported only for the 64-bit. If you are just going to use that 32-bit, then it will you have to install the MariaDB another version, and you have to face many more technicalities. So I suggest you, if you are not using the 32-bit, then you can I will create a cloud-based model for those participants who are not able to install or using the 32-bit system. They can use that part of the things. Okay, from tomorrow onwards, they can use that things. Okay, ma'am. So I need to copy this thing from here, Moodle latest from here, and paste into the C drive, XAMPP, Apache, SD-Docs. The complete steps has been provided into the documents which I have shared you last Saturday. Now just extract here. Just right click on the Moodle latest 39 and click on the select the extract here. Now you can see the Moodle folder is here. Let it be extract. Please do not extract anywhere and then copy and paste here, because it will take so long time. So I request to all, please first copy the zip file under the htdocs, then use the extract here. Okay, and it is quite possible that some participants do not have the WinRAR. Then they can do one thing: right click on the Moodle and then click on the extract all, because that is the Windows utility. So you just, once you click on the extract all, it will ask you to install this one under the htdocs. Just remove the name after the htdocs and hit the enter. Click on the extract here only. Okay, then it will again create a Moodle folder under your htdocs folder. So now my extraction is completed, and I can see there are a lot of files and the folders inside my Moodle directory. That is my Moodle directory. Just double click on the Moodle and check it out. There are a lot of directories and the files are available here. So the things what I have need to do till here, that is completely very easy, and that is not so too much very tricky or the something else. Still, we have just installed only the XAMPP server, and we have just extracted the Moodle. That's it. Okay. So now just go to there. Okay, and check it out. First, once I have to localhost _ 8080 / Moodle. Just use it. Okay, and I request to all those participants whose port number is 80, whose Apache port number is 80, they can use this one path only, localhost / Moodle. That will be the path for those persons who are just going to use port number 80 rather than the port number 8080. Okay. So now I'm just hit the enter for the Moodle. Now I am able to start the installation process. So now my installation process has been started. First, it will ask me to select the language. That will be default. It would be English. So I'm just click on the next window. During the next, it will ask me to confirm the paths. The confirmation of the path is required. First two windows I'm not able to change because first web address says during the execution of your application, this will be your web address. Whenever I'm going to ask a new page or make a request to my Moodle, then this will be the prefix by the web server browser always. Second is the Moodle directory. That is the path. You can just check it out. C drive, XAMPP, htdocs, Moodle. That part should not be changed, never. Suppose that if you just make a little bit change, you're just going to change this one, Moodle 1. Then you can change here, but that will not supported by the this one path because it should be Moodle. So please never going to be changed, never change this one path. Okay. Now, third one is the Moodle data. Yes. For this time, let me tell you one more thing. Inside the XAMPP, are you able to see any Moodle data directory inside this one? There is no Moodle data directory because Moodle data directory is responsible to store the sessions, is responsible to store the caches, is responsible to store the all temporary files, is responsible also to handling all the related file like your course file, like your students assignment submissions files, your assignments files, your videos files, everything will be held by the Moodle data. Moodle data is basically responsible for everything. So I request to all the participants, please do not remove the Moodle data completely from your system in any cases. If your drive is full, then please provide some space in your drive, but do not change the Moodle data, because if you change the Moodle data, then everything will be going to be changed and everything will be going to be blank. So suppose your student has submitted a file like that is a video file. The video file link will be available on your site, but the video file will not be able to collect from the Moodle data. So that kind of the problem you will be faced. So as we can see, there is no Moodle data directory, but once I click on the next button, now I just can check it out. I am able to see the Moodle data directory here. Once I'm going to open this Moodle data directory, it is having three kind of the things. First is the cache, second is the language, and third one is the temporary. Temporary basically having the temporary files, language that is regarding your English language or Dutch language, and third one is the cache for your local repository. That is not for right now use. Next one is improved MySQLite. If you are using 32-bit system and your Windows is also supported to install the Moodle directory, then you can use the MySQLite. Otherwise, I suggest you please use MariaDB. MariaDB is basically the advanced version of the MySQLite. Okay, so click on the next. It is basically responsible to hold the very big data or about 2 GB data in a single column. So that is why we require to install the MariaDB. Third one, that is the database host, local host, database name Moodle, and database user what it should be. So once I need to provide here only the database user that is called root. That is never going to be changed. That always will be root. And the password should be blank. Now it is being confused that how I know that the user is root, because by default MySQL and MariaDB having a root user. Okay. Second thing, how I'm going to select the Moodle database, because this database will be created by the Moodle directory, or you can change the database name. So for example, just I'm just going to type here PBICAM. Okay. So let me check once I'm going to use, or once I'm going to click on the next button, what changes will be occurred by in my database. So to check my database, what I'm going to do, localhost colon 8080/phpMyAdmin. phpMyAdmin is basically responsive, provide a visualize database snapshot. Okay, you can check out how many database inside your just one click you can check it out how many databases are inside your system. what number of the tables are in your system, and what are the different table themes. So just hit the enter, and you are able to see these are my database: information schema, MySQL, performance schema, PHPMyAdmin, and test. These are by default databases. We are not going to change anything. But right now, if we need to create a new database, just click on the new button, and you just can create the database. Okay. Just click on the create. Now you are able to create the database and create tables. That is very technical, but for the Moodle, once I'm click on the next button, the database is going to be created by this. Now you can check it out. There is a BVICAM name database. There is a database which have the name BVICAM. Okay. Again, this is the full form of Moodle. That is the Modular Object-Oriented Dynamic Learning Environment. Okay. So it is just giving a information that if you lost any data, because Moodle provides a flexibility in their system. Like if you, it provides a lot of plugins, a lot of flexible environments using Moodles. But suppose that if you make some changes that is not so necessary to do in Moodle, then it is quite possible it harm your Moodle database, and the data may be lost. So I request to all the participants, please, if you do not have sufficient technical aspect, then please do not make any further change in the code of the Moodle, or in the database of the Moodle. Okay, it is requested to all of you, because if they make a small change, then it may you may lost your complete data. Okay, that will be recovered, that can be recovered, or that cannot be recovered, but it is basically depends on your technical knowledge. Okay, so it is just a kind of the acceptance or the terms of things that we are not going to be. This is just open source, so we provide you you can extend the Moodle, but if you lost any data, then we are not responsible for that. That is just the copyright notice provided by them. And just click on the continue to go to the next one. Okay. Now we can see sometimes we do not make the required changes in our XAMPP. So I am able to face these three kind of the problems. First one is the INTL, second one is XML RPC, third one is the SOAP, and the last one, sorry, nothing else. These three things, such kind of, it is quite possible that if you are going to install the Moodle on the web server or something else, right now this is showing only these three errors, but it is quite possible you may have like curl error or some zip error kind of things. Any package could be not found by the Moodle that would be available here. So just for example, check out this one, PHP extension INTL. Click on must be installed and just click on the next link, that is the must be installed and enabled. Once you click this one, you are able to see the changes required by the Moodle. These changes are required. Where I have to require, and you can just check it out. To enable this extension, add the following line to you in your php.ini file usually found in PHP. Okay, so where I'm going to find that file. So just check it out. Go to the control panel. Everything regarding your PHP settings or regarding your Moodle settings, regarding your Apache settings or regarding your MySQL settings, everything will be found inside the XAMPP control panel. So there is a config button. Once you click on the config button, you are able to see the php.ini. Now, what is the php.ini? php.ini is responsible to provide everything or every settings which is used by the PHP to provide or to compile the PHP files. Okay. Once I'm going to click this one, then also I'm able to change the these extensions, that INTL, XML, RPC, and so. So just click on the php.ini. Okay. And Control F, just type the Control F and find out first one, that is the INTL. You are able to see here this INTL having the code that is called semicolon. It is started with the semicolon. Extension is equals to INTL. If I'm just going to check my setting window, then I am able to see the semicolon is not shown here. Okay, so I just need to remove the semicolon from the before the extension. Second, it is asking me to find out the INTL, this one. Okay, so what I need to do, again go to the Control F, or you just can use edit and find. Inside the find you can type INTL and the find next. Now these two things are looking similar. INTL in square brackets. Now first one is the default local. So my default local language should be EN_UTF-8. That is provided by the Moodle documentation. Next one, intel.error level is equals to e-warning. So this is the line. I have to remove the semicolon before the both lines. Okay. So once you have make changes, then it is fine. Then just check it out. The next version was XML RPC. So once if I have opened this one, so just go to the top of the file, click here, and again go to edit, find XML RPC, hit the enter. Now I have to find XML RPC. The line should be the extension is equals to XML RPC. I have to find that line. So that is not the same line. So I'm just going to click on next. Now I'm able to see that one. Extension is equals to XML RPC. If you find this one, just do one thing, remove the semicolon before the extension. And the just 4 line before, you can see the so that you have the same thing. So I have to remove the semicolon. Now close the settings, go to file, save, and close it. Now I have changed all necessary things which are required by the which we need to require to change into the php.ini. Now these changes should be incorporated or compromised in my Apache server. So to compromise those settings in my server, I have to stop the server first and then start again. Please mind it. Whenever you are going to change anything inside these files, then you have to restart the server always. Otherwise, you will find out these errors always, again, same error again and again. And you will be confused that why I have made all necessary changes, but those changes are not going to reflect in my system just because of you just forgot to restart the server. Okay, so just restart the one server and scroll down the page, go to the reload button, and you are able to see here the op cache dot enable this setting. This setting is not so necessary for now. So we are able to here to see the continue button. We do not have any further error, or except that one, the site is not HTTPS. That is just a warning. So if you found this one warning, that means your site is not secure, because we are running on the same server or in our local machine. So we do not require to change or to purchase the certificate from the higher authority regarding the to make our site secure. So just click continue. Now your installation process has been started. It will take some time. For the time being, I am available to discuss the query. If you have any query right till now, you may ask, please. During the installation, if you do not have any query, then I can continue. During the installation, the Moodle is responsible to make the database. It is also responsible to create the tables and setting all the tables inside the database. Okay. Now it is just going to create the files and the directories. Till now it has created only 134 tables, or you just can check it out. A lot of tables are going to be created here, and every time once these plugins is going to be started or installed, those plugins will be shown by the Moodle here. Okay, so a step while installation, stepwise installation doc is needed. Sir, I already have shared that installation wise doc is already given to you in WhatsApp group. I'm just going to share it again. Just give me a moment. I have shared both the things. I'm just going to share it again. Moodle installation process and install XAMPP and Moodle YouTube video, which is the part of. Is that the next step? Yes, sir. Everything has been covered in both of things, in video as well as doc. If any participant have any query, please may unmute their mic.
We have to install it right now, or
Ma'am, if you install it
Hello?
right now, then hello, ma'am, am I audible?
yes, sir.
Ma'am, if you install it right now, then I will be happy and I will completely help you out if you stuck anywhere.
Sir, I had installed the Moodle in my last this thing, but I could not complete it, so I am joining this course. So do I need to do it again?
If you have installed
I have
it,
the
ma'am,
Moodle.
then if you have installed it in your system, then you do not require to again make it installation process.
Okay,
I
so how
have
do I check that the system is working? Can I check it if the system is still working?
Yes, ma'am. You just can check it out. I'm just typing here address localhost Moodle. Please type this address in your any browser and check it out.
Okay. Localhost, then just a minute,
Slash
I'll do
Moodle.
it.
Yes, ma'am. But ma'am, please first start your XAMPP control panel and start two services. First one is the Apache and second one is the MySQL.
Apache and
MySQL.
How to do that? I do not know.
Ma'am, you can see XAMPP control panel in my window.
XAMPP control panel, that is there in
Yes.
my C drive, I think.
Yes, ma'am. C drive, XAMPP under the XAMPP folder.
Just a minute. C drive, XAMPP control. Then when I click that, then what I have to do?
Ma'am, you have to
Apache we
double
have to
click it. Yes, ma'am. Apache and MySQL, both services should be started. These are
At the same time.
yes, ma'am.
First I will click Apache.
Yes, ma'am. And then MySQL.
Okay. Then
MySQL. Second one button.
Apache. The second one is config, bin config, then error
No.
icon. Like,
Ma'am, first is the start button under the action column. First one is the start button. Click on the start.
No, I don't think so. I've taken the right thing. Just a minute. I'll go back. See in C drive, that is XAMPP is there folder,
Yes, ma'am.
and then
There
I
is
double click it to open.
second last thing, XAMPP control.exe.
Second last.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Under the XAMPP folder.
And
Scroll
then
it down.
Just a minute. Okay. That is XAMPP control folder.
XAMPP
I'll open that,
control.exe. Double click it. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. XAMPP control.
Now, are you able to see this screen?
Yes, Apache and start. Yes, I can see that screen.
Yes, ma'am. Please click on the first start next to the Apache.
Okay.
And then second one,
Okay.
below of that one start. Next one, please.
The next one also my scroll.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. That should be started.
MySQL. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I have started that.
Now just type this one. Now open the browser and type this address, localhost/Moodle.
Where, sir?
Ma'am, in browser, in Chrome, either in the Chrome or in Firefox Mozilla.
So
Any
I'll
browser.
let this move, sir. After this is.
Yes, ma'am. Please minimize it. Control panel should be. Now you can minimize the control panel.
No, sir, Apache that is showing stop, and MySQL is showing start. I had started it, again it's showing start.
Yes, ma'am. If it is not started, then please click on the start. It should be stopped.
Started, then again it should be stop.
Ma'am, the problem is that once you click on the start, the button will be turned into. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, it has turned into stop. Then I minimize it.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Minimize
and then
it.
And then browser.
Then, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Please open the Chrome or the Firefox Mozilla.
What? Mozilla?
Yeah, Firefox. Either the Chrome. If you have Chrome, then click on the Chrome.
I have Chrome, sir. Google Chrome.
Yes, ma'am. Open it.
Then then I type
now,
local.
Yes, ma'am.
Local host in
localhost /Moodle. Hit the enter.
Okay. Yes, my name is coming.
Yes, ma'am. That means you have installed the Moodle completely.
Okay.
Your website name is coming.
So every time when I have to see this, I will type localhost /Moodle/ then my system will start. Is that so?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So and every time, sir, we have to Apache and this MySQL, we have to do the start and stop.
Yes, ma'am. We have to start the Apache before using that Moodle. Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay. So
first I go to XAMPP file, then from there I Apache control, and then we have to start the Apache and the
MySQL.
MySQL.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then type here in the browser. That's what?
Yes, ma'am. That's it.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, participants, please mind that once you are going to install the Moodle, then you will check it out one error at the mode LTI. Basically, that is this is the server, or this is the error just because of we do not have any HTTPS file. So it will always ask us to install that file. Then we are able to check it out. Then we are able to it securely. So until we do not have installed the SSL certificate, it will always show an error, and we are not able to use because this is required for the OpenSSL CNF. That is very technical part, and it will be useful once you are going to install your Moodle on the cloud or make it public version. Okay, so Moodle is a thing, or you can say the application or an LMS, which you once you install it in the cloud, then your students are also able to access the course material, the test, and anything, any resource what you have created for your students, and provides them a login, username, and the password. They can access those things from their own home. Okay, so it makes a very good thing to access these learning sources. Like you just created an assignment and you just deploy it to the into the Moodle. Once you are just going to ask a student to submit their assignment before the due date, then they have to submit their assignment on the due date, or on or before the due date. But if they are trying to submit their assignment after the due date, they are not able to do so. So you also easily can manage the users. You can also provide the users that you can, Moodle is very powerful because for every single course, you have a specific grade books, grade cards, whatever you are going to use during your sessions, okay, during your courses. And you easily can customize your settings. You easily can customize, every teacher can customize their course material, their lesson plans, their learning manuals, their lab manuals, anything according to their choice. Suppose that there is not forcefully, just for example, if my institute says that every month you have to take an exam for students for every unit course, so I'm not bounded to take in which date or in which week. Suppose that I am comfortable for every second week of every month, then I can schedule my program as well. And if I suppose that no, this month I'm not going to take my exam on the second week, I will take it on the third week, then I can reschedule that very easily. So Moodle provides a blend learning things environment, which is basically user easily can use, and students are not able to say that, sir, we do not have received any study material, or we do not have received any assignment from your side, because you just can say that you just log in your site and check it out by your own, and you have to submit your own assignments. Later on, Moodle is as covered in the first session, that Moodle is very flexible platform where you can use you can just deploy is very flexible. You can use lot of things, or you can change by your own requirement. So there are a lot of plugins which are already provided by the Moodle directory, so you can download them, install as per your requirement. But you have a sufficient knowledge regarding the plugins as well, because if you are going to say I'm just going to use the attendance plugin, then there are a lot of attendance plugins. Which one I have to use? Which one is very effectively used by all the user around the world? So these are the things which we have always mind that these things. So Moodle still it is going to installation, because once the installation is completed, then we have to set up the site first, our first look of the website. Okay, so till then I have to just wait to complete it.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, I was just saw that my Moodle is started, but it is saying you are not logged in. So how do I log in? Or you will be telling us the process about in the due course of time?
Okay, just ma'am, I'm going to tell you how you are going to be logging your system. Once I need to finish this task. After the finishing
Okay,
of
sir. So
installation.
I'll wait. No problem.
Yes, ma'am. Please.
I'll wait. Thank
Okay.
you.
Now, now this time, that is the very complicated time during the installation of Moodle, because sometimes it is basically depends on the speed of your system. If you are using a web server or the server kind of the things like Windows server or the Ubuntu server or Linux server, then then it will not take a very long time to install these things, because server provides a lot of the things. But we are just running it this on our local system, so it will take some time. Sometimes some participants may face a problem, like this page will not show these messages like success or success like things. This page will not show these things, but it will remains a blank. And if you feel that after the 15 minutes it's showing the blank, then you have to refresh the page. Once you refresh the page, then it will ask you to upgrade the Moodle database. Then click on the Moodle, upgrade the Moodle database, and install the plugins or the upgrade Moodle database. Then install all plugins, whatever the listed in your page, and click on the upgrade Moodle database. Then this page will become again. Okay, so please mind these things. Every time during the installation of Moodle, we have to very patiently we have to follow these instructions, because one wrong instructions may install the Moodle but will not start the Moodle. So we have to follow these processes very easily, and installation is not so very uh, technical, not so very technical, but yes, it is little bit technical. If any participant have any other query, then during the installation we can solve those problems or those queries. Please go. installation of Moodle is very challenging task. Sometimes it becomes because after that, because we are using our local machines or our professional or Windows that which is not a server machine, so we have to face some problems, but not so very challenging problems. We just have to make we just have some patience just have some patience so that we can resolve those issues. Okay, now it is going to be completed. We suppose that. Now click on the continue. After completing these things, click on the continue, and now it will redirect you to another page. The first page to create a first user for the Moodle. Let me clear you one thing. This user, what we are going to create right now, is known as the first user for the Moodle because you can change, you can delete, you can edit this one user as well, but you can update this one user, but you cannot delete that one user. So first is the username is admin. I request you to, it will remain same, or you can change it by your own. Like I'm just going to change this username as a term, and then click on the new password. You have to provide a password here. So just click on the password and type @123. Now this one. Just click on the I button to see the password that you have typed for the Moodle, and this is the username. And once you click on this one, suppose that right now you are not able to change this one password because you are main admin. Once you click this one, if you check this one, then every time first times when you are going to log in, then you have to change your password. Now there is your first name, so you may change your here the first name and email address. Okay, these red dots are mandatory fields. You have to fill these fields. Okay, other are not so mandatory. Username, that is again the mandatory field, but that is already filled by the admin, so that is not marked with red button. But after that, once you are going to create this one, now you as an administrator, do you want to show your profile or your email address to all the users? If yes, then select the second one option. Allow everyone to see my email address. Okay. Otherwise, you can hide your email address for every non-privileged users. Means if I'm not a privileged user or not a logged in user, then I'm not able to see your email address. Okay, only the other course members to see my email address. Only the other course members who are not my course members are able to see my email address. Otherwise, my course members are directly contact with me. So I always remains with this one option, allow everyone to see my email address, so that if any user who are not able to log in my system or not able to register as themselves by using this system, they can just check it out my email address and just directly write a mail to me. Okay. Second one is the Moodle Net profile. Moodle Net profile is basically used once suppose that like your LinkedIn profile, if you are a Moodle instructor or a Moodle authorized member, you are a registered member of a Moodle, then Moodle will provide you a page. Then that page profile, you have just type down here the link address of that one. City and town. For this time, I'm just going to type Delhi. Select a country. Just type down India. Now, time zone. Time zone is the time zone basically plays a major role in Moodle, because if you select any wrong time zone, just for example, if I select USA based time zone, then I just make my servers 11 and more than 11 hours back to the my Indian current time. Okay, so suppose that if I'm just going to set the at a test for 11 o'clock, it means in the morning, but it will show me into the night. So you have to select here first by continent, that is Asia, and second one the state, Asia Kolkata, which is the time zone for India. Okay, if you provide some instruction or description about this one user for the administrator, you can just type here, otherwise update the profile. Now the installation process first step has been completed. This time my installation is complete. Okay, now it will redirect me to the next page, that is called the setting page of my server. Okay, let it be finished first. Then it will redirect me to the front page settings. If it is not to do so, then I will tell you. If it will show, then I will again tell you. If it do not show your the next page, then what you need to do. First time during the installation, it takes a time. Okay, now it is showing the blank page. So it means if I'm just again hit the enter on this page, then it will give me the, it will redirect on the same page. Just update profile. I'm not going to change anything else. Sometimes it does not show the same page. It an error like a lot of cookies, please remove your cookies from your site, or something kind of these errors. Then what you need to do, just need to go to the XAMPP Moodle data folder. Just find out, look at this one folder, Moodle data folder, and under this folder cache, then sessions, temp, and trash directory. These 4 directories you have to delete it from the Moodle data and then refresh the page, because cache just hold the page. Like if there are too many redirects found in your system, then it will give an error and that will be cached in your cache folder. So you have to remove that one. Sessions, basically sessions have the blank values, so session you have to again delete that session as well. Temp directory have some temporary files, trash directory have some removable files, so just clean that. So these 4 directories you have to remove from your system. Now you can check this one. This cannot be redirected properly. The problem can sometimes caused by the disabling or refusing the accept cookies. Okay. So I have to delete these files and then again hit the enter. Now it will ask me to log in again. So first my username was Uttam, and the password was Moodle@123. Click on. I have saved this username and password. Now the front page setting is started. This is the first installation page. What your full site name? Just for example, I'm just creating a website for my institute. So I will just type here Bharti Vidya Peeth Institute of Computer Applications and Management, and the single word name, that is B8. Front page summary, if you want to give some summarized page here like descriptions, and the second one, that is called the front page. Front page, in the first page, what you want to show, the list of courses or the list of categories. So just suppose I select here list of categories on my first one page. Once a member is just going to visualize or check out my website, then first time he will be able to see the courses available in our site. Just like this one example, Coursera.org. Just like this one page. Like Coursera, Udemy, and the other websites, once you just visit those websites, they are just providing what kind of the courses they are going to provide us. They are just giving us a review. So such kind of the things will be provided by like of the list of categories. For example, machine learning kind of the courses, this package is available. For programming language related things, these are available. For other physics related courses are there. So quantum physics are there. So you can just create the categories of those courses. Okay. So those front page, whenever user going to visit your first page, then he will be able to see the categories, like what kind of the categories, how many categories you are offering the courses. Second one, once I'm going to log in, suppose that I'm the user or a student just going to log in, then he will be able to see the courses or the categories or the enrolled course. How many courses user has been enrolled themselves for to complete the courses. Those courses list will be available. So I'm not going to select the courses or the instead of the categories. Why I'm going to select the categories here? Because suppose my institute provide a lot of courses, and like in the BTech there are 5 streams, and management have offering 3 or 4 streams. My law stream, my college is also offering law degrees, so there are some courses regarding the law, LLB, LLB, BB, LLB kind of the things. But those things are just going to be create a mesh in if I'm just going to select the list of courses. Because suppose that if BTech CSC just offering 52 courses, yani 52 subjects, so it means the 52 subjects will be displayed on the single page. Okay. Similarly, if ECE also going to offering 50 courses, then the total course page size will be 102. And it also be a problem because every course sometimes having 2 different with the same name, so student will be going to be confused. So we just going to give a simple path or simple navigation through the categories. So once the user is logged in, then ask him to just check out the categories, select your desired category, then you can go to the courses according to your requirement. Maximum depth of the category, that is 2, means there is quite possible. First you are offering the BTech course, then you are offering the CSC branch, then you are offering CSC branch in 4 different streams. So these kind of the categories will be how many depth you are going to disclose, that is 2. So once I'm going to click on these things, so it will show me BTech, CSC, EC, IT and these things, MTech, CSC, IT and these things. So only 2 major categories will be shown there. Okay. Number of courses, maximum number of courses on the first page, that is 200. Okay. Comments displayed per page, that is 15. Default front page role, that is the authenticated user on the front page. Means again, the front page will be accessed by the only authenticated users or a student or a guest. So always provide this one, authenticated user on the front page, because sometimes you allowed guests to access your page, sometimes you allowed only the students will access your page. So authenticated user is the perfect settings. Next, go to the Europe new local settings. I'm not belongs to Europe. It is by default Europe Berlin, but I have to select here Asia Pacific. Asia Kolkata. Now, self-registration is disabled. What does it mean? Suppose that if I just make it enabled. So email-based self-registration says if you have a email server and you ask user to register themselves using that email server, email-based registration, then user is providing or registering themselves by the providing a form through the Moodle. And once they fill up the form and submit and register themselves, then they will get a activation key. Once they click on that activation key, they will be registered in your system. So they are just going to access those systems. But if you are belongs to an institute, then you have to make it disabled, because otherwise you won't stop the users who are outside from your institute. So always make it disabled. Now there is LDAP servers and these things are there. LDAP servers is basically using when you are following some kind of the server based systems like Windows server or Linux server you have installed in your premises, and you just ask that all those students or the members who are registered with those servers, they will be accessed. They are also able to access your Moodle. Then you can select that LDAP server settings. Next is your new settings manual accounts. We do not require to change anything here except one, that is called no reply for mail, because we do not have any mail settings right now. My user since YouTube, Google Drive. There are a lot of things we can setting up these things later on. Right now we do not have required to make the settings. Okay, so these are the settings completely. Once you click setting it perfectly, or if you are very experienced expert in Moodle, then you can set up it once. Otherwise you have always faced some problems during the updation these things. Okay, we have to make it blank because we do not have any mail server, and just click on save changes. That's it. It has very large page size, so it will take some time. If it will raise an error, then again we have to do the same things. If you just first time install the Moodle, then and make it public website, then you can register your site on the Moodle.org, Moodle.net. Once you install that on the Moodle.net, then Moodle will provide every time a newsletter and further enhancement on the Moodle. Every time they will intimate you, and once the new version of the Moodle will be released, then they will help you how you can upgrade your Moodles, your site with that server also. Okay, so my setup is completed now. Now I am able to see here the dashboard. Now you can see the dashboard with some things, like first is my recently accessed course. If I have offered some course or I am registered with some course and I have visited that some course recently, those course will be shown here. Next is the course overview, that will provide you how you are going, how much course you have completed, how much that will the complete status will be you can able to see here. Okay, there are some other things like left hand side there is a timeline. The timeline I always just going to intimate you what are going to be next event or the upcoming event activities will be displayed here. Private files, if you have some private files or uploaded some private files on your system in Moodle, then you are able to see the private files here. The private files are basically those files which will be accessible by you, not by any other user of the Moodle. Suppose that if a student just uploaded some private files, then he or she will be able to access their own private file. Even the faculty members are also not able to use those private files. Online users, because I have logged in with the admin as an admin rights, so I am able to see how many users has been logged in from the last 5 minutes. So it is just showing that one online user has been there. There is Uttam Singh, which is I am, and I am just logged in from the since last 5 minutes. Latest batch, that is also again going to display you that the next coming events or the what is going to be next, that will be shown here. The calendar is basically also work as the event management, because every time whenever you are just going to just suppose you just upload a quiz, then the calendar will remind you how which date have which one event, which date have which one event, and how you are going to use those events. Just for example, suppose that if this is 26th October, so just I suppose that 28th 29th we have just to test for this RC course. So these events will be filled by some values. Okay, these will be highlighted because it's shown that you have some activities on these dates, or some activities or some assignments are due on these dates. Upcoming events, it is again show you what are just going to be upcoming events are there. So the Moodle is basically complete package for in perspective of the users, teacher and the students as well. You can access, you also check out this site. Now first, you can see that this is the dashboard. Once you click on the site home, then you are able to see how many courses are there. These are the course categories. So right now there is just one default course category, that is called the miscellaneous, and the miscellaneous is basically available here. If I am just going to hide this one, that will be gray color. Okay, right now this is blue colored, but if I'm just going to hide this one, that will become gray color. So if you are as a teacher or manager or the course creator, then you are able to see the hide one categories as well. But if you are a student, you are not able to see any kind of that categories. Okay. Second one is the calendar. It will just show you the calendar and the activities there. Okay. The private files, once you click this one, then you are able to see how many files have you uploaded for here. And if a student or teacher just want to upload their private files and check it out, just suppose those are just like as a papers which I'm going to share with my students, and right now I don't know how do I'm going to manage those things, then I can just put on the private files, and once the time is become, then I just can share directly to my students. This is the content blank, that is content bank. Now every content, the content which we are going to discuss you later, that will be provided here. Next come to the site administration. So just suppose once you click submitted the site, and you are not going to set up, you are not able to set up the front page settings, and Moodle has not asked you to submit the front page settings like your site name and your username, then and directly put you on this page. Then you just go to the site administration. Okay, in this site administration, you are able to see the front page setting at the bottom. Once you click on the front page settings, now you are able to see the same page. That is the front page settings. That is my short site name. That is the front page once the user going to access your page. And second one is the when you logged in, and these things. Now just going to save things. Okay. Now, as an administrator, I am able to see user tab, courses tab, grades tab, plugin tabs, appearance, servers, reports, and development tabs. Okay, these are the tabs which are basically provided by the administrator, in which we are just going to discuss the site administration tab. Second, users, how you are going to create the users, how you are going to edit user, manage user, delete user, provides the roles. We are going to discuss this one tab. Next one is the courses. In the courses, we are going to discuss how you are going to create a course, categories, and other things like create the courses categories, manage the courses categories, delete course, upload the courses, like these things. Okay. Next one is the grades. Grades is basically how you are, once you have just suppose that you have planned a quiz or the assignments or the any activity, and you just provide some grade to your students, how you are going to manage those grades. Plugins, that will be our second last thing, in which we are just going to discuss how we are going to install the plugin in our Moodle. Last one is the appearance, through which we can manage our site. We can change the logos, we can change the colors, we can change the appearance of our system. That will be just to give a little short things which will be covered in the plugin as well. The server, which is not going to be discussed because the server part is very technical part. So we are not going to discuss this one. Only the server administrator can handle these things. Reports, yes, of course, we are going to discuss the reports on the advanced once we going to discuss in the second last session, that is called the plugin and advancement in Moodle. And the last one is the development, which is basically in which I am just going to discuss some things which will be very useful to all you participants. I'm not going to discuss that how you are going to develop your own plugins or the further things, but yes, of course, I will tell you little bit things which will help you to resolve some sort of issues in your near future. Okay, so if you have any query, this is end for today's session. So if you have any query, kindly please you may ask the queries, or we can close the session.
Sir, I can't find my dashboard. How do I approach?
Okay, ma'am. Is your system is looking like this?
Sir, home.
Okay.
And down below it says you are not logged in. In bracket it says login.
Okay. Just let me. Ma'am, your system is just like this.
And
Your name, ma'am. Please check it out. Check my screen. Ma'am, can you please see on my screen? Is your ma'am? Ma'am, on the right top corner there is a login. Login. Just click on that one. Then you can. Yes, ma'am. Then you can type here.
Login.
Pardon, ma'am.
Right
yes,
side. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Right side topmost. Click on that one.
I just remember my username, so I just log in. Huh? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
And then just log in.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. If any participant have any query, kindly you may ask me.
To do, can you please just refresh us? Content.
Pardon me. Content bank, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, content bank, if you have suppose that some contents on your site, just like you have just create course materials or something that things, you just create a bank for that one. You just put the complete package on there.
Store our material as well as some downloaded material or related
Of course, ma'am.
sites which and use as and when needed. Is that
Yes, ma'am. Actually, ma'am, content bank is that once you just suppose that you will just create the resources, that will become the part of your content.
okay? So collect and then as and when needed, just
No, no, ma'am.
share it with our
That-
students.
That will create that will be grown automatically. You whatever you required, you just click on the upload button here and
Okay,
just
okay.
yes, ma'am, directly. If you want to add something, then you just click on the add button and upload these things. So this become a content bank, basically your private use, not for the any other person's use. Suppose that
Thank you.
yes, ma'am. Suppose that I have some books which I'm not going to be discussed with anything else, anyone. Then I'm just going to make my content bank my own.
Oh,
Thank you, Dr. Navneet Sharma. You have installed successfully. Thank you, ma'am. So if please confirm me if we suppose I suppose that I have completely installed and discussed everything regarding the installation process of Moodle. So if there is no question, then we can close the meeting here, if you allow me.
Dear participants, installed as yet. They may install later on also, and they may ask their queries in the next session also. But the ones who are installing
tomorrow
along,
what
if they are through, I think somebody has muted, but you're okay. Thank you, Bhuvneshwari ma'am. Bhuvneshwari ma'am is saying okay. Any
ma'am,
other
I wanted to know
participants?